The Connection Show. Inspiring. Hope. Health. Healing. Sponsored by Brave Heart Workshops. Live with Jill Reynolds. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like our page. Share it. Subscribe to it now and click the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming shows.
The Connection Show, inspiring hope, health, and healing. Sponsored by Braveheart Workshops, live with Jill Reynolds. And joining me today is Rhonda Lou Moxie, DBA Rhonda Liebig. So welcome to the show, Rhonda.
Jill, I love hearing my new speaker name, Rhonda Lou Moxie.
And that's a girl with lots of moxie. Woo, woo. Well, I just will share a little bit about who Rhonda is. She is a speaker, an author, a certified health mentor, and the founder of the Fresh Inspiration Show. With over 10 years in the business world and 20 years of experience in the health and wellness industry, she has overcome personal health struggles by learning how to stop, reframe, and revitalize. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to shorten it because we'll show it later on the screen. So Rhonda, one of the things we love about the Connection Show and our guests coming on is we love being non-intentional, not letting them know what are we going to talk about. So what the Connection Show is about is connecting the dots of your story to your childhood, and where you're willing to share the good, the bad, or the ugly, and how that story has transpired your life and transformed your life to who you are today. So I'm going to leave the mic open to you and share whatever you want about little Rhonda.
Oh, I love this. Okay, Jill, here we go. 4 years old, I got my feet dangling off this love seat, and the love seat has these beautiful flowers, and my grandma and I are sitting next to each other, and I'm sitting with my grandma real upset, and my grandma was the love of my life. She was my second mommy. And I said, Grandma, why are so many people in our family getting sick? Cancer, and there are a couple other issues that were on my mind. Grandma said, Rhonda, my dear, what you're seeing is what you'll probably end up dying with and what we see our family dealing with, and that's how it's going to happen. I said, Grandma, there has to be something different. And I really, at that point, my grandma said, no, there's really nothing else you can do. That's what life is about. So I didn't say anything to my grandma. I went into the kitchen like really fast, got the biggest plate, bigger than my head, got a big old thing of peas, because that's what my grandma just made, was a big old plate of peas. Plugged my nose and started scooping peas in my mouth. I'm like, I'm going to save my life by eating healthy. And I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. And I just kept eating, because at that moment, at 4 years old, I truly believed deep inside that food was medicine. And I didn't have any, science background, 4 years old. But I wanted to change something, not just in our family, but the hope of what our health and wellness is. And so it was the beginning of lighting a fire under my booty. And
well, yeah, and you know what I find
forward
interesting about that opening that you shared is the majority, like 98.9% of kids at 4, would have been so freaked out and overwhelmed that grandma just said, "This is, you're going to die, and this is how it's going to." They would have gone in the kitchen and had the biggest bag or box of candy or sweets they could and binged on it to numb out that fear. Instead,
Yeah.
your brain went into, I'm going to binge on healthy food to prevent grandma's prophecy to come true.
Oh, Jill, exactly. That's why I know that there's a big component for me here in the industry is that I don't know anything different. Not that I haven't used food for numbing and all that. Those are different stories. But yes, at that age, I knew that I what I was here for. And there are many times I got lost on the trail, but for 12 years now, I have been doing this work, and it makes me cry so much by watching the transformations that happen and how we can change as humans. It's quantum leaps sometimes, and I love the rawness of this journey, and that's where my comfort level is these days.
So thank you for sharing that. So back to that kitchen and little Rhonda. So you're discovering these peas as good nutrition, and grandma was one of your favorite people in the world. So what else took place in your childhood? Any pains or struggles you went through growing up that maybe sidetracked you along the way?
Hmm. Around that time is when my sexual child abuse started happening. It could have been before that, but I do know it was around that time.
What
And
time?
I and
What time was
how
that? It cut out. The screen cut out. What did you say? What age was it?
it was around when I was 4, from what I can remember.
Okay.
The pain of what I was going through, I didn't have words for it. I knew that I was supposed to shut my mouth and not say anything. And it was 3 people that I knew. They're part of the family or they're invited into the family. And that was the beginning of me having stomach like digestion stuff going on, and that was the beginning of my thyroid disease, which I was on hypothyroid medicine for 20 years. Now I'm not, but that was the beginning of me shutting my mouth because someone told me, shut your mouth. This is our secret. This is what's going to happen. And there were times I was locked in closets, and these things I didn't realize were so deep in my cells. I didn't know how I felt about it, but I felt it as I got older and understood more of the pain I was dealing with.
Hmm. Wow. And so did mom or grandma or anyone in the house ever discover what you were going through, or how old were you when they finally found out that this had happened to you?
I was about 16, and I was already talking about it, thinking that it was like okay, I need to go out there and I need to talk. I can help women. And that part never really happened until later. But I finally went to my mom. I went to my brother first. My brother and I are like partners in everything in life. It's incredible having a strong brother sister relationship. And my mom did nurture that a lot. Told my brother, and he said, does mom know this? So at 16, I started speaking about it to adults, not people that were my age. And it brought on a lot of anger, and people were frustrated. And people believed me, which was really good. I didn't have any of that. And that was the beginning of really sharing that story and understanding how bad it was. It kind of made me feel uncomfortable because I'm like, well, I knew this all my life. It's not that big of a deal. And now I realize it is. I realize it's tethered with health and wellness, where I was at and what I've been dealing with. And of course, dealing with some serious issues throughout my whole life of illness.
Mm. So what type of illness? I know you said you had some thyroid. What illnesses prevailed as a result of this trauma that was embodied inside of you? Because trauma causes the breakdown of your body. I mean, it just does. No matter which way we cut it, when our bodies have trauma in it, the bodies respond from that trauma.
Yeah. Started in 6th grade where I was not absorbing my nutrients, so I was sick a lot. And then every year around Christmas time, the time that, we're receiving, I couldn't even handle Christmas very much. So I'd get strep throat because I wanted to, speak probably some things that I didn't know how to talk about. And I didn't know how to receive a present. It was very difficult when somebody would buy me something. And then 29, I actually got on medicine because if I sat down, I just fall asleep. I just totally, I think of it as almost like, when you see people nodding off when they are doing drugs and all of a sudden they just kind of fall asleep. That's what started happening to me, even if it was a crowd full of people. And it was terrible. It was scary. It was frightful to wake up and go, here, wait, I just fell asleep. That's where I got diagnosed with hypothyroidism.
Wow. And you could have had an accident because you could have fallen asleep behind the wheel too.
Right. Yep. Exactly. And I was a person that was known to have high vitality. So if I kept moving, because I was telling my story like, oh, I'm okay. I'm okay. And so I was high and happy, not grounded and deep, not the joy. It was pretend, pretend, pretend. Because I spent my whole life pretending, and I did it well if people weren't knowing, what the grounded joy looked like. People was like, "Oh, Rhonda's is so happy," and I was aggressively happy. And I'm so glad I'm not like that anymore. It takes a lot of energy to do
Yeah.
that.
Well, because behind that aggression, the aggressive joy is usually a lot of sadness and depression, and you mask that. Your body masks that, and so it's a whole different portrayal. Where was Dad throughout this whole scenario? I haven't heard you mention Dad at all.
My mom and dad I was probably one when they separated. I was probably about one.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had bouts of different stories about my dad, but my dad was like my knight in shining armor. I wouldn't see him for like 10 years, and I'd be like, oh, Dad. Because Dad has this beautiful smile. My dad passed away a little over 15 years ago, and he couldn't do any wrong, even though he did quite a bit wrong when I was younger. So my dad wasn't in the picture. He was built up as this big, beautiful man. And I can remember looking up at him and thinking, oh my gosh, Dad, I love you so much. As my mom's like,
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing. Now, are you single, married, or what's your marriage? Do you have children now, or?
Jill, it's so crazy beautiful. I have the most grounded, beautiful family, because I have teenagers. So it's real grounded and beautiful right now. I have a 16 and 18-year-old. Things are going awesome. I feel like I'm their guide. When my background is, I used to be in corporate doing accounting. At that time, I didn't know really how I was as a parent. But doing this type of work, I understand I'm really there for them and as a family member, to not tell them you have to do this, you have to do that. Even with my husband, I'm learning so much about loving and guiding and allowing us to be. So it's an incredible family journey right now with the four of us in the family. And it's a lot of work because it's about me consistently working on myself and understanding that. And since I've been doing that work, it's the time I got off of medicine 4 years ago, I came in deep truth. Okay, let's release the stuff that's happening inside. Let's release the limiting beliefs and so on. And then also the food alignment, being consistent and not hiding certain foods because I didn't want anybody seeing me eat it, because I thought I want everybody to think that I ate perfect. And then when somebody wasn't looking, and then I would gulp it down. And those things I've had to work on. And I say have to, but I had to. It's like, no more medicine anymore, Rhonda. This is the time to grow up. Grow up. And it was a beautiful grow up. It wasn't a point your finger grow up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I found, and tell me if you were on this journey as well, as you had your children, Rhonda, especially, I see this a lot in survivors and moving from victim to victory. My screen says my internet's unstable. I can't wait till they fix it tomorrow. I keep getting those signals. Anyway, for survivors, this is something that I've seen a lot, and I wondered if as you had your children, did you have episodes as your children were born each year of their growing up? Did you have, like, I want to call them flashbacks or awarenesses of your little girl yourself in them? In other words, when do you have two sons or a son and a daughter?
A daughter, 16, son, 18.
Okay. So let's just start with your daughter at 16. So let's hypothetically say, so when she was 1, or especially that heavy age of 4, when your sexual abuse happened and your memory of grandma with the peas, did you go through episodes where when she was 4, it was like almost like you reliving your childhood? Did you go through those stages?
There were certain things about the stages I would read into a lot of emotions and
Hearing a little
want to
bit
make a
about growing.
story about it, and make sure that I was concerned about anybody touching her. Like I just kept saying, Jeff is like my husband. Do you know of anything? Like how's everything going with our friends? And let's make sure we watch our kids. I was high, like making sure, like
Vigilant.
hyper vigilant about making sure my kids can, to this day, being able to ask some questions and watch certain things. I believe my kids went through without that happening to them, but it was a lot of fear around that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's extremely normal, that your memories flash back, and it's almost kind of like, it's weird. It's almost like you're in an out of body experience, because you're sitting there as an adult and your child's sitting there, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden you become a child next to them. It's almost like you mirror them. And I went through a lot of that with I have a son. When he was growing up, I'd have like, wow, and certain things would come up. So and you'll keep, you'll keep doing that even with them being 16, till all the way till they get out of the house. And then sometimes you might have flashbacks once they leave home. But it's really strange how, and I think, I'm a really, really strong Christian. And so I really believe that God gives us each other for mirrors, like to mirror off of each other. And I love the ability to mirror sometimes. Sometimes it's called transference, but to mirror the good and the bad. So if I were to look at you and say, gosh, Rhonda, you have such pretty eyes. Well, I can't see your pretty eyes unless I have pretty eyes. It's really cool. And if I say, oh gosh, Rhonda, you are so kind, I can't see that in you unless I'm kind. But also the opposite. If I said, oh, Rhonda, you're really controlling, it's because I'm controlling too. And so it's kind of a nice gift, I think God's given us, is the gift of
Yeah.
each other. So we can see the truth in ourselves.
Yeah, I've been speaking about that quite a bit because it's just, well, the way the world is right now, it's always been like where there's these things going on, but lately over the past couple of years, and there's just so many negative words and things, phrases and energy out there, and I like to speak to, well, when you're shaming somebody else, oh, that, gosh, think about what you're doing inside yourself. And so I love seeing the positivity because, in meaning, flip it, and instead of going at somebody and saying, how dare you do this, or how dare that happen, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm curious. Are you okay? And I love that story about bringing it back to that person so they know they have the ability to start really seeing themselves in a way that they are like trying to control others and what they're doing inside their self, because maybe they haven't heard the words and phrases that they're truly saying about themselves. And what I like about this, about having those experiences growing up and the gift in those, is that I can feel how I felt at certain ages when the big things were going down. And it's helped me be a better guide in life, in what I do in my business, but also with my kids. I truly feel I am a good mommy. And it took me so much learnings about myself to really understand. And also there's a lot of judgment towards us mommies and as being a parent. And I let that kind of just fade out, and I go, man, and I start putting a list in my brain about the wonderful things I see about my kids. And I go, man, If I would have stayed in corporate and done that work, I wouldn't have been able to get deep in this story about like awarenesses of what I was doing to myself. Now I get to really join in and appreciate my family and what they're going through. I think that sensitive pulse is really important. We really need more people out there like that, Jill.
There's a purpose. You are right. You are right. That's fun. Well, I do these connection shows, Rhonda, and I send out an email, and it's got the link, obviously. And so she looked at it and thought, oh, there's a thing going on right now. And sometimes people don't read the whole thing, and it says
Yeah.
Tuesday, February 8th, 7 o'clock. Oh, well, but like you said, there's a reason she needed to meet you and me for just a couple of minutes. So this will be on your interview, Rhonda. Oh, well. Anyway, well, I would love the audience to see your bio, so I'm going to switch over to here, and this is Rhonda's bio, and it's got her website on it. The website I have on here, so if it's wrong, let me know, because I hope it's right, is the RhondaLiebig.com website. Do you use that?
Yeah, because the DBA is doing business as. And when I go out there and I speak, I just like put a lot of moxie and stuff, and speak truth. So we did transition me as a speaker and my name being that. But yeah, Rhonda, and it looks like Liebig, and it's German. So it's
Liebig?
Liebig.
Liebig. Liebig.
Yeah.
As soon as you said German, I had that Lie. It's Liebig, not Liebig. I lie big. I'm a big liar.
I know, and I found that people were saying that to me so many times because I actually am. I like a speaker agent. I love on people. I love getting people out there. So I heard so much about me out there as a speaker. Oh yeah, that last name. I'm like, okay, this is telling me something. So Rhonda Lou Moxie is what you're going to start seeing out there. You are my first interview with this name, but it's a spiritual journey for me. I tell you, Jill, this is beautiful to be with you, my friend.
Well, tell us a little bit more about what can the audience do to reach. We gave them your website. Share with us a little bit of services or things you do. So if they've connected with you, which I'm sure they would today, what kind of resources or businesses or business solutions do you offer the general public?
Oh, thanks, Jill. In my heart, deep in my heart, I feel that we are all out there to be able to inspire, bring our passion to people so that they know it's going to be okay. That life is beautiful around the storm that's happening. We were talking about, I'm from California. We were discussing big things around California and what we're dealing with. I, last quarter, started launching part of my business. I have 3 departments, but the one I've been focused on to help people get out there more and be in truth with this next journey is the Vitality Speaker Coaching. And that's where I believe vitality, we need the energy to get out there. We need the words and phrases we want to use that are authentically us. And that's what I teach in that. And as a speaker agent, I help people. I bring speaking engagements to people. I make sure that they are showing up differently, meaning that they're themselves, because we're all unique. The resources, you can go to the Rhonda Liebig, which you were saying Lieb as in boy IG, and you're going to be able to get like a little energy quiz, and it's 14 questions, and it'll help you know what kind of foods do you need, what kind of body movement that are going to be good for you to help open up your body, because our body shifts all the time. And it's around mindset also. So all 3 of those components I call the energy revitalize pillars. So you'll want to opt in, grab it, because everything is about vitality so that you can have that open space of sharing with people the beauty of you. And I think that's what we need, is the strength to be able to transform the negativity that we hear consistently to love, support, energy, I got your back, those kinds of things.
That's beautiful. So Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day and jumping on the Connection Show with us today, Rhonda. And everyone, reach out to Rhonda and connect with her because she's an amazing woman and can really be helpful. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring up two events that Braveheart Workshop's participating in. And whatever we do, we always move with hope, health, and healing in our lives from victim to victory. So the upcoming event that's right around the corner this weekend, February 11th through 13th, and you can register for the live event till tomorrow. Tomorrow is February 8th, so you can register up until tomorrow, is the Becoming the Best You Can Be, Overcoming Challenges in 2022. And we have got about 20 plus speakers on the roster to share with you ways that you can become the best you can be. Now, if you can't attend, it is in Overland Park, Kansas at the Sheridan Convention Center, and it's being brought to you by Brenda Ringwood. She's amazing. Her website is comechangeyourlife.com, and I'll be one of the speakers on Sunday. So we hope that you'll come in person. Now, if you can't attend in person, you can, up until the 10th, get yourself a virtual ticket. The event will be fully recorded. It'll be live and fully replayable, so you don't have to sit in front of your computer the whole weekend. So get a ticket for only $49. That's like so inexpensive with these speakers. If you come in person, Saturday night we're having a black tie event with dancing, and then on Sunday we're going to celebrate the Super Bowl. And yes, we are sad that Kansas lost, but great for Cincinnati. It would have been a ball if Kansas won, because we're in Kansas for the event, but oh well. And so we will be celebrating the Super Bowl on Sunday afternoon when the event ends. So come out and join us in Kansas City. And then in Branson, Missouri, which is where I live, on February 24th to the 27th, we are kicking off with the Christian Women's Retreat, Connecting in Joy. We'll be digging into hope in Him, God the Father, health of our body, and healing of our mind. So all three are so important, to have hope, spiritual hope, health of your body, and to heal your mind. So that weekend, we will lead on Thursday. And then on Saturday, we're all going to go to the Pure Joy Conference in Branson at the Mansion and connect in joy together. We'll be doing s'mores and campfires and pajama parties and water aerobics, and it will be a blast. So, fly out to Branson and let's hang out together and have a great time. So those are a couple of upcoming events with Braveheart Workshops, and we look forward to just sharing more with you. And we also have, Rhonda, the Connection Show. And so the Connection Circles, excuse me. And those are circles where anyone can come on and join us when we meet in circles. So if you go to the website, braveheartworkshops.com, and look for the tab that says Connection, and then the drop down is Connection Circles, you can join us by giving us your email, and then you'll get the Zoom link. So join us, and we are meeting tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Central Time. So jump on and meet some new friends and connect. So thanks again, Rhonda.
Yay! I had so much fun, Jill. Thank you.
Okay. Bye now, everyone.